Most people recognize the deep, physical wave of exhaustion that follows a lively social gathering, or that sudden wash of relief when weekend plans get canceled at the last minute. If you're an introvert, you likely spend a significant portion of your life with your social battery sparking on empty. When Carl Jung popularized the concept of introversion in the early 20th century, he defined it as a fundamental orientation toward one's own internal mental, emotional, and cognitive landscape. This orientation is driven by a metric called resting cortical arousal. This is the baseline level of electrical and chemical activity humming inside the brain during periods of inactivity. For introverts, this baseline is remarkably high. While extroverts rely on external dopamine surges from novel social situations to feel motivated, introverted brains are naturally lit from within. They exhibit increased blood flow to the frontal lobe, the area associated with memory, problem-solving, and deep introspection. This creates a specific neurobiological capacity limit. The introverted mental engine simply operates at a higher baseline temperature than the extroverted one. Because this engine runs so hot, the brain manages a strict cognitive economy. It operates on a limited daily energy budget for processing data from the outside world. Modern social mechanisms are incredibly expensive in this economy. Endless small talk, crowded networking events, and even unannounced visitors demand the simultaneous processing of complex auditory, visual, and social data. This chart compares the two thresholds. While an extrovert has room to absorb social input, the introvert's baseline starts so close to the ceiling that a single spike of external data immediately breaches their threshold, triggering sensory overload. This sets up the primary challenge of the introverted experience. If this cognitive budget isn't aggressively managed through withdrawal, the result is severe neurological and psychological burnout. Managing that budget is difficult in any environment, but in a dense, hypersocial society like India, the baseline friction is constant. Traditional joint families prioritize group harmony and emotional interdependence over individual autonomy. In these multi-generational households, physical and emotional privacy are structurally limited, and the constant presence of others is viewed as a social ideal. This cultural landscape often views the pursuit of solitude as a rejection of familial bonds. Because the need for quiet is misunderstood, it is frequently pathologized as arrogance, disrespect, or even depression. Many introverts are forced to mask their temperament to fulfill relentless social obligations. They project an outward performance of engagement, while their nervous systems secretly redline under the pressure of constant stimulation. In collectivist societies, this culturally mandated lack of boundaries keeps the introverted brain in a chronic state of hyperarousal. Because introverts find the massive physiological arousal of confrontation so taxing, they often choose to absorb relational pressure. They internalize the stress of a situation rather than risk the destabilizing effects of an argument. In extreme cases, this evolves into fawning, a survival response where an individual utilizes extreme compliance and people-pleasing to ensure their emotional safety. This tendency toward empathy and conflict avoidance makes introverts ideal targets for covertly toxic or controlling friendships, where their natural habit of listening is exploited as a source of social supply for others. These vulnerabilities often extend into the mind itself. Because introverts possess vivid inner worlds and a high tolerance for solitude, they are susceptible to limerence, an obsessive, one-sided infatuation. This allows them to experience the euphoric highs of romance entirely within the safety of their own imagination, bypassing the unpredictable and potentially rejecting friction of real-world dating. Without a physical sanctuary to recharge, the introverted mind will resort to self-abandonment or elaborate fantasy to manage its internal environment. Effective recharge for an introvert requires the absolute elimination of unpredictability and decision fatigue. This is the logic of the mere exposure effect. Familiar routines create psychological comfort because the brain expends zero cognitive energy processing them. By sticking to the same products or identical daily routes, introverts automate their choices to conserve energy. This search for predictability explains the habit of rewatching the same sitcoms repeatedly. Knowing the plot resolution eliminates the risk of an emotional ambush, allowing the parasympathetic nervous system to finally take over. Even following sports offers a sanctuary. The rigid rules and predictable schedules of a cricket match provide deep, structured engagement and community connection without requiring the exhausting labor of direct social performance. Strict brand loyalty and repetitive media habits function as intelligent biological strategies for maintaining nervous system regulation in a chaotic world. Introverts are increasingly leveraging technology to protect this peace. Digital quick commerce apps are flourishing in urban centers because they allow users to avoid the invisible energy drain of traditional market interactions and face-to-face transactions. We see a similar shift in social communities. Silent book clubs allow people to experience the warmth of communal presence without the pressure of intellectual discourse or performative small talk. Solo travel has also emerged as a powerful tool for autonomy. It gives an individual absolute control over their sensory environment, eliminating the decision fatigue and social negotiation inherent in group trips. Choosing to withdraw from the crowd serves as an essential biological defense mechanism against overstimulation. By fiercely guarding their quietude and honoring their strict cognitive budgets, introverts are able to return to the world and offer their true neurological superpowers: deep observation, profound empathy, and intense, unbroken focus.